So there's the physical healing component. There's the social healing component, which is to have someone to talk to. And then there's a financial component as well, because like you said, the paid leave thing. Yeah, I think it's only Colorado right now that has mandatory 12 weeks of paid leave. It's the only state in the nation. I want all states to have it.
Welcome to Imperfect Momming. Our children are constantly looking to us for examples. The term role model doesn't quite cut it here. We are shaping their worldview with every move we make. You see, it's not in the lectures we give or moments where we are actively attempting to teach them. It's in the micro movements we make, the unconscious ways in which we navigate life. We are constantly teaching our children how to show up for themselves, their friends, their future partners, and even their future children. So what can we do to ensure we are raising thoughtful, compassionate, self-aware human beings? We have to become them ourselves. No one is perfect, but we can still all be better, and it starts with self-healing. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Imperfect Momming, and we have a very special guest today, Zoe Weston. Did I say it right?
You got it. Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. I've been teaching and creating curriculum and helping new mamas for 26 years now. I love doing that. I do childbirth education, and I'm most passionate about postpartum recovery right now. So I'm really pushing that whole idea. A lot of people aren't aware that there's special care you can do after birth that really helps women heal quickly. So I'm spreading that message, and yeah, I've been putting a lot of time into that recently.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I know that I guess what I wore as like a badge of honor was my bounce back ability.
Really? Oh, good for you. Bless your heart.
And I mean, I don't like to tell people my pregnancy stories, because like my longest birth was 3 hours. I was usually like back to work 3 or 4 days later, like
Wow, that's amazing.
and it's, so when I just say that, then people are not they don't like me much anymore.
Oh, no, that's not a good reason.
Obviously,
But I'm
yeah.
happy for you that you had that good experience, an easier experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I bring it up because I've been a surrogate 4 times. So my last surrogacy, I had my son, and then I was a surrogate 4 times. And so my last surrogacy was twins, and it was my only C-section. And that was a different story. My bounce back ability. So, but I know that I've worn it like a badge of honor. I know that a lot of women do or struggle with that bounce back. And I love the idea of normalizing the time that it takes for you to physically recover, because I know that there's a lot.
Yeah, there is. And right now, the United States is one of the only places in the entire world that doesn't have postpartum care in our medical model or in our culture even. And traditionally, if you look back at the women in our history, all over the world, really, there's about a 40-day window. That's the marker of healing time. And so there's no going back to work after 3 day kind of thing. There's a 40-day time period where you're actually expected to be on downtime, take that time to bond with your baby, have the whole family bond really, and heal your body. And then research has now said that many people need up to a year now to actually heal from that experience.
Yeah. So
And
that
I
40
personally,
days is about 6 weeks ish.
exactly,
And that's
right.
what moms get.
That's
If
right.
they're working moms, you get 6 weeks. Unless you have a C-section, you get an extra 2 weeks.
They're
Right.
so generous with that.
I know. Yeah, and also that's the time, usually your doctor will tell you to come back in 6 weeks to have your first visit after,
Mhm.
post-birth. And usually, you'll see them for about 10 minutes and they'll just make sure you're alive and the baby's alive and you guys don't have any big issues. And then that's it. Then you're gone. You're out on your own. So I think we need way more than that. I think there should be a whole protocol of healing, nothing complicated, but very effective. And I'm pushing all that stuff out there now to spread
So
the
if you
message.
were going to write the curriculum,
I have written the curriculum.
oh, amazing. Can you share?
It's
Some of it. I'm sure that a year's worth of information is a lot. But
yeah,
maybe a couple of milestones.
sure. Well, I do just want to mention I have written an online program to train people how to take care of new moms.
Mhm.
So it's a postpartum caregiver training. It's an
Mhm.
online program. I made it super affordable. You can do it anywhere, anytime. That said, I also offer consultations online. Um, and yeah, there are some basic things that I learned through my research. So my background is in anthropology. That was my degree. And I'm kind of obsessed with learning like what cultures all over the world are doing. And I love bringing all that information together and creating a comprehensive model. So that's what I've done. And I call this model of healing, I use what's called universal truths, or human truths, meaning it doesn't matter what your belief systems are or your cultural heritage, these things work on everybody. And so the most basic, of course, is nutrition. And there are really specific foods and herbs and spices that you can cook with that help to balance hormones, heal the womb quicker, and induce lactation.
Mm.
So just that, if you just did that, huge, huge difference. Because as we know now, postpartum depression is often caused from the hormonal imbalances that happen after birth because your body is trying to readjust, right?
Mhm.
From being pregnant to not pregnant. So sometimes that gets out of whack if you don't have the right nutrition and also the right support. Sometimes just the mental stress can cause that for some people.
Mhm.
So nutrition is huge. So I help people plan meals based on what their likes are, if they have allergies and or I might offer something and they're like, no, that's disgusting, I'm not gonna eat that. So I have all kinds of alternatives and they really help a lot. And that does include teas as well, drinking. I mean, like the most famous one is red raspberry leaf. That's that you can drink that every day of your life, actually, if you're a woman. It really helps all women, whether you're pregnant or in the postpartum phase or anytime. That's really
And that
good.
helps with balancing hormones
Yeah.
specifically, or
Yeah, and it's good for womb health. So yeah, it's a good one. And and then the second thing I learned from my research is people all over the world are saying and have said since the dawn of time to keep women warm. So what you want to do is, stay in bed, of course, as much as you can. That's not always possible. I get that. But you can do warming treatments, and there's a whole variety of treatments. The easiest one is to take a sitz bath.
mm,
Of course, if you have a cesarean, you have to be really mindful of the incision. And you could also wait later to do that until you're properly healed. But sitz bath, just get warm, and you can put special herbs in there that are famous for healing skin and healing wounds. So yeah, that's one of the things I recommend.
I remember I was 10 days postpartum and my fiance was planning a trip to the snow.
Uh-huh.
And I gave birth December 28th of 2022. So January 4th, 5th, 6th, somewhere around there. He was talking about going to the snow. And so we're already in the winter. It's already winter.
Yeah.
Our house is not warm it doesn't stay warm easily. It's like we have to bundle to be warm in our house. And there was one night I went to bed and I was shivering and I was in so much pain because I'm shivering
Yes.
post C-section. And
Yeah.
so
Oh,
I just, yeah, I
yeah.
just had, and then I asked him, do you expect me to go? And his response was, I hadn't thought about you not going. What I heard was, I want you to go, or I'm
Right.
expecting you to go, which is not what he said. He hadn't
Sure.
thought about whether I was going or not. He was going, whether I was going or not. They were
Right.
going to go to the snow, and I was so hormonal in that moment that I didn't hear it. I'm an implied listener anyway. So I hear what I think is being said, not what is actually being said.
Okay.
And yeah,
I've
and
not
so
heard that expression before, that term. Implied
implied
listener.
listener.
No, but I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Implied communication. I'm about to do a podcast on
Are you?
implied communication, implied and direct. It's like most people, anyway, that's a whole thing. But I hear what I think they mean, not what they're actually saying, not the actual words that they're saying a lot of times.
You're
And so,
doing your own interpretation.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
Uh,
you thought you were going to the snow,
so
or
I thought I was going to the snow, and I went in and I broke down in tears instantly. And he's like, he didn't even know what happened. He's like, I don't even know what happened. He's like, I'm not expecting you to go. And I was like, what I realized was that I was actually having an internal conflict also, that I did want to go, but I
yeah,
didn't know if my body could handle it,
right.
especially after the shivering and the pain from that.
Yeah.
And it's interest that's the memory that got sparked when you said you're supposed to stay warm.
Yep. I mean, in Thailand, they actually build a fire and they have, because it's a warm climate, right? So it's already pretty warm. They want you to be like extra warm.
Warm.
They have moms, lay in a special, they make it all super cozy and special for them, and they build a fire for them.
Wow.
Right. So, and they're right next to it. They're supposed to they have to lay right next to it, like you're next to a fireplace.
Oh,
So they're just super hardcore warm. Yeah.
yeah.
Which I love. I love that idea. So
Yeah.
yeah, I teach a lot of warming treatments.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that idea. And I'm just like filtering through all the people that I know that love to take hot baths, and like I don't know that I could sit next to a fire when it's already hot.
I
But
understand. Yeah. And also many people, yeah, like some people are very sensitive to heat. It's not their comfort zone at all.
yeah.
Yeah. I
So I
guess
wonder if it's more about being hot versus being comfortable. Like
it's
where's
about
that?
being hot. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They want you to be hot because it stimulates healing. And
Okay.
so when you're cold, your body is working to
Warm you up.
warm you up, right? Yeah. So, but when you're hot, it's like mega, like just all this stimulation happening. And that's what you want to
Yeah.
happen.
Very interesting. Okay. Sorry. That is very fascinating.
It is fascinating. And the third big thing that I push is doing a binding. And I don't know if you were lucky enough to have that done. Some women don't like it. Most love it because it's very comforting. It's also a warming agent. But what it does is it puts the hips back together, the hips and the organs back to their pre-pregnancy state. It helps everything just go back in, and it feels really nice and supportive on the body. So I teach people how to do that. They can do it to themselves and make their own at home, or they can purchase ready-made ones online. But it's a really good part of the healing process.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah. I'm just like listening to you and just imagining different, like how things would be different for women again, like postpartum, like you said, it's very hormonal, and especially postpartum depression being linked to, because I hadn't heard that. It makes a lot of sense to me. And you know what, because I did have postpartum depression several times, maybe the first 2 times. I did a lot of personal development in between the second birth and nope, the third birth I went immediately on antidepressants. I was not at one point as a surrogate, it was like my 2-day check, and one of the nurses asked me, or said, she didn't ask me, she said, I couldn't do that because I would miss the baby. Don't you miss the baby? And it was like in that moment, there was perceived judgment, whether there was judgment or not. That's how I perceived it. Because I hear that a lot, I couldn't do it because I would miss the baby. And it doesn't feel like judgment on a air quotes normal day, but 2 days postpartum, it feels like judgment.
Sure. I get that. Yeah.
But between that third birth and the fourth birth, I'd done a lot of personal development, and what I noticed in between between those 2 births was I had a lot less pent up in my body, because I had done a lot of emotional expression during those years. And I don't know 100% that they're connected, but they feel so connected to me, that we just hold a lot of stuff in our bodies in general. And when the hormones just pull those walls down, and so a lot of stuff just starts volcanoing out.
Right. Yeah. I think it does make women more emotional. I was very emotional myself. Yeah. I think it's normal. And most women experience, at the least a little bit of melancholy afterwards. I think because the energy shifts, so you were just pregnant and your body is usually a lot, well, I don't want to say a lot, but if you had a healthy pregnancy, you have a lot of feel-good hormones in you during pregnancy, and then that's over. And also you get a lot of attention when you're pregnant. If you're lucky, you have a supportive family and you're being nurtured. Then everything goes to the baby after that, and you're like, hi, I'm still
Remember
here.
me?
Yeah.
The one that just gave birth to that?
I know. And we don't want to talk about that because it makes us feel guilty. It's like, okay, yes, there's the baby. The baby needs to be taken care of. I totally get it. So just let's ignore me. But I'm trying to change that. Yes, of course we want to take care of this little baby, but I offer mother-centric healing. So you probably have heard about postpartum doulas. A lot of postpartum doulas, and that is the training that I did. But I've done many trainings. So, and then my own research on top of that. A lot of the postpartum training was to take care of the baby, or to do household chores. Sort of like help women do laundry and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, no, that's not what I'm going to be doing. I want to heal this mother. I want to love on her, just her, make sure she feels good, make sure she's healthy. Yes, if she's got questions about the baby, definitely we're going to talk about that, talk about infant care, her concerns, all that stuff. But really it's a mother-centric healing modality that I'm pushing.
I really love that you shifted from the training that you did to what you're doing, because I've also noticed we do a parent support hour basically, and when we say to the parents like, hey, what's going on with you this week? Oh, my kid's doing this and my kid's doing that, and and it's like, okay, but what's going on with you this week?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
realize like, yeah, what's going on with your kids is important.
Mm.
And like, how are you feeling about that? What is that producing inside of you? How,
Oh,
what support do you need while you're raising these little humans?
yeah. Yeah. And we talk about that as well. So there's an emotional check-in with each mom, you know. It's really important to find out how much support she actually does have. And a lot of women do not have any. You'd be surprised. And not only do they not have any, it's extremely uncomfortable to ask for it.
Mhm.
It's just something that most women don't feel comfortable asking. Even our best friends, even our family, our moms, our aunties, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it's just there's something there that's sort of there's like a block there of asking for the help. So sometimes if you just have a stranger come in to you know get it all out, it's not therapy. But they have found out like suicide is one of the highest causes of death among new mothers. That's insane. And they found that if you just have one person to talk to, it can prevent that.
Yeah.
Just having someone to get at, you know, check in with, or somebody that is checking in on you, you know, to see how you're doing. Just that one text, the
Yeah.
one phone call, and that helps enormously. So I want to be that for as many women as possible. And I want to teach other women how to do it if
Yeah.
they would like to do that kind of work. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm reflecting on my parenting journey. It is just hearing you talk about what other moms struggle with in the beginning. It is not, it doesn't escape me how blessed I was that I had. I mean, my husband was deployed, so
Mm,
maybe that's why like I had everyone flock to me to be like, how can we help?
yeah.
And
That's awesome.
so, yeah, it was, and first grandchild, all that kind of fun stuff. And my sister came to stay with me during the 6 weeks, that first 6 weeks of his life.
Mhm.
So, like, what I found out that I needed was like, I needed 1 hour a day where I didn't have to be responsible for him
Yeah.
and where I could just like go and take a shower by myself. And
Right.
like, and I would do the laundry or do the dishes or just make myself a meal.
Hmm.
But I just hearing you talk, I know that that's what kept me sane in the beginning.
Uh-huh. I'm sure it did. I think that's great that you knew that about yourself, that you took that initiative to just have the hour. That's great. I
Yeah,
don't
I think
know.
it's more hindsight, but I was
Huh?
like, my sister would take him for she's like, I'll hold him for a little while. Like she kind of took the lead for
Mhm.
that, but
Great.
it was like, okay, well, what can I do that's hard to do with the baby? Well, it's hard to make myself food. It's hard to take a shower. It's hard
Yep.
to, and yeah, so I wasn't like, oh, I know exactly what I need. I don't,
Mm.
but like it was, in hindsight, definitely felt really supportive. And
Yeah.
I think that maybe a lot of moms don't have that because some of them have spouses, and so they kind of think that dad's going to do that, but dad doesn't know to do that either.
Yeah, dad can do some things for sure. Um, but yeah, it's a special kind of healing and support, I would say. Yeah. And sure, your family can help you if you're lucky to have that. In the modern world, I'm only speaking about the United States right now. A lot of people move away from their families and don't have them close by. I was exactly like that, and my husband had to go back to work. Like I think he had a week off, but then he had to go back to work, and there I was in a new community. I barely knew any people, so I didn't have anyone coming in checking on me. My family was 3,000 miles away. And yeah, I don't wish that on anybody. Like
Uh,
to have that. Um, what did help me and what I highly recommend for all new moms is I joined a mama circle. There was a local mama circle, and that was like a godsend for me, just to have other women to talk to who are going through similar things. And I was, and still am, friends with most of those women for life, if they're still here where I am. And yeah, so there's the physical healing component, there's the social healing component, which is to have someone to talk to. And then there's a financial component as well, because like you said, the paid leave thing, yeah, I think it's only Colorado right now that has mandatory 12 weeks of paid leave. It's the only state in the nation. I want all states to have it,
Yeah.
to have that window of time to bond with their family and heal. Because if you're worried about paying rent or, putting food on the table, meaning you have to get back to work right away, right? You have to keep the income flowing. It hinders all of that. It hinders the bonding and it hinders the healing process.
Yeah.
So I am, you know, it's slow going, but I do collect data on if this is actually helping to avoid postpartum depression, helping women to avoid it. And with that data, I want to take it to insurance companies, policymakers, and just hopefully we can make some changes in the future so all women can have this kind of care.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Excuse my dinging here.
You're all good. Is there a piece of advice that you want to share with moms?
A piece of advice for any moms or pregnant.
You could speak to new moms, pregnant moms, or any moms, anywhere in between.
Yeah, I guess, I do give advice to young women who are fantasizing about starting a family. This is one of my favorite pieces of advice to give. It's not for new moms. I could probably find something for new moms too, but for young women who are fantasizing about starting a family, I say, please, if possible, only do it if you have a good support system around you, meaning you have grandma and grandpa and aunties and uncles and cousins, and you actually have people close by who are there to support you for your parenthood journey. Because two people raising a child is so incredibly hard. And now sometimes people want to be solo doing that. That's the absolute hardest thing to do. We really, it's been so overused about we need a village. So I don't want to use that expression, but it's very, very true. You need your whole family to be there and help you through your parenthood journey.
I
So
always say
think
if it's
about that
cliche,
before
it's
you start a
cliche for a
family.
reason.
What's that?
I said I always say if it's cliche for a reason.
Yeah. So I would just really think about that before, because young women do fantasize about, romanticize about, how wonderful it's going to be to have children and have your family. And it is wonderful, but it's really hard if you don't have support. So, set yourself up for success is what I would say to moms and moms to be.
Is
Yeah.
there, yeah, that, I mean, that, I think that works for even current moms, because whether you have children or not, most people listening to this podcast would have children, but we still need that community. We need relationships and people to connect with. Like, we're social beings. We're not isolated. We're not supposed to be isolated. And if the pandemic taught us anything, it's that we're not
Right.
supposed to be isolated.
Yeah. Agree. 100%. Yeah.
Was there a book that's been instrumental in your personal development journey?
I think one of my favorite books I do love to read self-help and personal development books, and I have read a lot. I'm going to say my favorite one is The Four Agreements. I love The Four Agreements. I love especially don't take anything personally.
Mm.
it's such a weight lifted off your chest when you don't take everything personally, because sometimes people are just having a bad day. It's not about you. And so I practice that. I haven't mastered it, but I do practice it. It helps me a lot. Yeah.
That sounds like a book that every junior hire should read.
What about you? What's your favorite? I'm curious.
Gosh, my favorite book. So many. Lately, I've been reading a lot of autobiographies because I'm just going to say that Matthew McConaughey's autobiography is like a self-help book, like the way that he breaks down his life.
Mhm.
And the lessons that he's learned. And Jada Pinkett Smith is her book is very similar in the way that she's breaking it down, and she actually gives you like questions to ask yourself. And so I think those are pretty cool. But I want to say that I read Jen Sincero's "You Are a Badass" and Rachel
right.
Hollis' Girl Wash Your Face
Okay.
around the same time, and those two have a very humorous style to personal development, and they just like it's digestible, and so that really got me into it and hooked. But those are the ones that kind of pop off the top of my head.
Okay. I'm gonna check those out. I haven't
Yeah.
heard of any of those.
Really?
No, not at all.
And
Behind
there's
the times, I guess, with the self-help stuff
that's
now.
so funny. Yeah. And there's a library app called Libby, Libby, and I talk
I
about
use Libby. I love
you.
Libby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use
My
it every day of my life. Yep.
my aunt introduced it to me, and like audiobooks, done.
Uh-huh.
I just listen to
Audiobooks.
audiobooks all the time.
And I learn language like that too. There's some good language programs.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can our listeners find you?
I have a website. It's my name.com. So it's zoeweston.com. And yeah, everything's on there, all my classes and services. And I do everything online. Unless you're here in Maui, I can come visit you in person, but I have created everything to be online as well. So yeah.
Well, I'll come visit you.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Please do. Yes, absolutely. I will be here. I will be here for another 2 years for sure.
So, well, thank you for literally everything that you're doing for moms. I know a lot of people like to help children because they want to change children's lives. And my philosophy is like, let's support the parents because the parents have the most influence on the children. And moms have the most influence on the family as well as the children. And so I love that you're helping moms and doing all the research that I don't enjoy doing, and then coming on here and sharing with me.
I love it. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity. I got to share it with one more person. I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, so there'll be another episode of Imperfect Momming for you all next week. And until we meet again, keep healing. Bye, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Imperfect Momming. It's time for us to step up and realize that our power is not in trying to shape our children. Our power lies in shaping ourselves into the people we want our children to model themselves after. Don't just do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. When you become a more self-aware, compassionate, and confident person, you and everyone around you benefit. For more information about me and my work, visit AlysiaLyons.com. That's AlysiaLyons.com. See you next time.